Recording in progress.
Ooh.
Thank you, Barry.
Blueberries. Well, troublemaker here, you know, she's. Don't say your name. Okay.
Don't that encourages it.
That's amazing. It's certainly you're starting to bring back your childhood. Never got out of it.
Sure that.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Deposits. Or wait to entry into distribution of 60 years.
You ready, Jane? All right. City of Rockaway Beach City Council meeting on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. will come to order. The City Council and staff want our business meetings to be a safe place for all to attend and share their opinions, a place of common courtesy and civility. As such, we request all persons in attendance respect those attending and the opinions of those with whom you may disagree during meetings, prior to meetings, during breaks, and after meetings. This will enable our community to establish an environment wherein all issues and opinions may be fairly considered, and decisions, though sometimes difficult, will be made in a spirit of mutual respect for all community members, no matter our differences. Please place your cell phones on silent and let's stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You got it, thank you. Video now, yeah, let him.
All right, let's report who is in attendance. Council President Cheek.
Here.
Councilor Franken.
Here.
Councilor Conruff.
Here.
Councilor Martine. Here. Councilor McGinnis.
Here.
And Mayor McNeely is present. So at this time, we're going to have the oaths of office. So the council will move around in front of the tables. Can't put anything by me.
Do you want us to move someplace else to take up there?
Is that look good to you, Jane? Robin?
Yeah.
Looks good? Okay. That'll do.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Charles.
Do solemnly swear
The
that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of, state your office,
duties of the office of mayor councilor
of the city of Rockaway Beach
of the city of Rockaway Beach
and support the Constitution and laws
and support the Constitution and laws
of the United States and the state of Oregon
of the United States and the state of Oregon
and of the charter and ordinances
and of the charter and ordinances
and rules of procedures
and rules of procedures
for the city of Rockaway Beach.
for the city of Rockaway Beach. Please. I'm gonna get pictures of you guys after the meeting when I left. Okay.
I almost did it up into it a little while ago, a couple of months ago, and I'm real careful. So I got hold of your chair. Oh, he's not.
Well, if goes down to the front. No, but then gonna look like a pile for the next.
The consent agenda is a tool used to streamline meeting procedures by collecting routine, non-controversial items into a group whereby all are passed with a single motion and vote. You have before you the consent agenda on the approval of the December 11th, 2024 regular meeting minutes, approval of December 11th, 2024 workshop minutes, review of financial reports. The minutes of the previous meetings and financial reports were distributed beforehand. Does a counselor wish to remove any of these items from the consent agenda to be discussed individually during items removed from consent agenda? Since there are no items for removal, are there any clarifying questions pertaining to the documents in the consent agenda? If not, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that the Rockaway Beach City Council approve the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
It is moved and seconded to approve the January 15th, 2025 consent agenda. Let's vote. Council President Cheek.
Yes.
Councillor Franken.
Yes.
Councillor Conriff.
Yes.
Councillor Martine.
Yes.
And Councillor McGinnis.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to presentations, guests and announcements. We recognize and welcome Peter Gelser of Kuntz Velasquez and Associates to share the result of their Rockaway Beach fiscal year 2023-2024 financial audit.
Okay. So he hasn't joined us yet.
Okay.
Is Marnie here? Would you see if you could reach out to Peter and see what he's up to? And we could probably move on to staff.
Perfect. All right. Well, the chair recognizes Fire Chief Todd Hesse to report for the fire department.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City Manager of Rockaway Beach, you have before you the Fire Department Council report for December of 2024. We start with the calls for the month. Relatively busy month, but sure a lot nicer in July. 911 calls, we had 32 last month. Again, leading the way was 24 medicals, 2 fire alarms, 4 structure fires, none within the city of Rockaway. They were all mutual aids to Nehalem and Garibaldi. 1 motor vehicle crash, and then the storm only generated 1 set of power lines down, which was kind of remarkable. Kept training. We did skip a couple trainings last month due to where the holidays fell, but we still did get in some fire operations and size up training. Non-emergent was 6 public assists. I don't know where to start this, but we did have a lot of falls last month, and those are some of our public assists. Just the time of year we see more increase in falls. Overall, the data for the year, if you notice, the couple things I noticed over the last 4 years where I've tracked all the data is our 911 calls have slowly increased, but they're not crazy. We had 422 911 calls last year. Those are emergent lights and sirens type of calls. 338 of our calls were non-emergent, where we still responded in a timely manner, but it's not a type of call you run lights and sirens on. We had 100 trainings, which is holding fairly consistent over the last 4 years. That's almost 2 a week we average. And then total was 860. So that increased from about 100 calls in the last 4 years is our increase. So steady, keeping us out of trouble. training, we, again, like I said, we took a couple times off. This month, though, we're starting a new agenda of training. Right now, there's 23 students across the street in EMT class from all over the county. We're still hosting that class. And 23, we didn't expect that big a class this year. We even did pre-interviews to make sure everybody that took it was serious, and we still ended up with 23. So really, really happy with the class that we have over there. It really helped the medical throughout the county. Firefighter 1 class, those guys are working on their skills and continuing. The beach last month, we were out there 3 times, mostly just on the king tides, kind of making sure everybody was trying to be safe. Didn't really have much activity. It was more of our presence, and was happy with that. Emergency management. I put this twice in my report because I thought it was important about recruiting. First line's about recruitment and the last line's about recruitment. But if you're interested, it's a dynamic group that just because you didn't make the first training doesn't mean you can't join at any time. And I think that sometimes we get that question asked, it's like it's a closed group. We're not closed groups. We're very open to, if you want to join up, we'll find a spot for you somewhere. We did not host a preparedness meeting this month. Next month, February will be Stop the Bleed, be the first Wednesday here in City Hall. They do have an agenda for the whole year, which we'll disclose at that meeting. And I would like to say, though, that preparedness or emergency management is, as the council's direction, would like to see more formal plans, and it's in our strategic plan. We did start to organize that group with a chain of command, which as we go through the months, I'll let you know more, but we're organizing each of our 3 groups into where there's an actual chain of command going through Captain Grace and myself to better get information to our group and to our public. And there's a few exciting things down the road, but moving along. But if you're interested, please see myself or Captain Grace, and we'll get you signed up. Overall, 2025 looks like an exciting year. Really kind of started this year with a lot of momentum and a lot of enthusiasm, and it's still there. It's a good thing. Made it at least 3 weeks so far. But we are, the new ladder truck is coming along. If you haven't seen it yet, we'll make sure we get some pictures up somewhere on our website so you can see the progress of it. I'm getting weekly updates. It's red and it looks really nice. That's what I'll give you. They're still telling me end of February. I'm not sure it's going to make that, but they're optimistic. It's a cabin chassis right now and it's looking good. But we have some trainings coming up, the EMT class. We also are going to host an EMT advanced class. The dates and times are still to be announced, but that's the next level up from the EMT. And that'll get people so they can give some IVs and they can give some medicines. So that'll take the EMT programs through the county up to that next level. Not paramedic yet, but that's being talked about in other realms. So continue to move that forward. We got some mapping software for our drone. We've got, this is kind of what I kind of want to talk about at the end, but the Community Wildland Protection Plan. We started looking at this at the County Fire Defense Board level a few months ago, realized county emergency management got involved, and then we haven't had a plan or plan update in almost 10 years. So we got a grant from the State Fire Marshal's office at the county level, and they are putting together their plan for wildfire response in the county. It would include, obviously includes us. And then after that, we'll be able to use some money to formalize a plan inside the city, like a Firewise program, for example, which I would promote, which will help us with defensible spaces and a plan in case there is a wildfire. So moving that project forward. Other than that, there's just a couple little notes that aren't on here. Talk about the summer staffing grant, which has been so successful for us the last couple of years, is in the legislature. I talked to the state fire marshal last week, and she said at this point, it is not, they don't know if it's going to pass or not this year. it's in the governor's budget and in the governor's proposed budget, but they don't know what the legislature is going to do. And they said if it's going to be successful, we have to have some kind of action by March. So as far as the Oregon Fire Chiefs, we've written letters to all our all our legislatures and senators in the state, and they all have information that this is the vital importance of this. And for example, they didn't see that from what happened in California and the upstaffing we get because of that. I don't know what's going to happen. We're encouraged, but not sure it's going to happen yet. So thinking of that California response, I was asked about the California response. Oregon sent 21 task forces to California. They're all actively engaged on the fires. As of, we get daily reports, and they are all active and working hard in California. There was some misinformation sent out that we were stopped by inspections. The state fire marshal wanted me to make sure the public knew that none of our task forces were held back. All our apparatus made it to California to the wildfires. There was an inspection process, but it was all our vehicles passed. Let's see what else we got. Oh, good news, the warming center, after the power outage we had earlier in the month, we did activate our warming center, and 34 citizens were able to use the warming center, grab a cup of coffee, charge the phones, be in a place that was warm, and it worked very well, highly successful. I think that's everything. So anyway, anybody have any questions?
Firefighter Bose is in California.
Yes.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, so Tillamook County did participate in the Oregon response to California. And we sent an engine out of Garibaldi and one out of Nehalem. And firefighter Booz was the firefighter that went with the Garibaldi department. So he's in California right now, getting some very good experience. And they're working hard. The success stories have been very good out of the response. And I guess one thing I would add, this is the largest out-of-state response Oregon's ever had to a fire event. So it's pretty historic from a lot of directions. But thank you for reminding me.
I have a few things. First of all, I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with the Neahkani Middle School principal, and she told me that the fire department / emergency management is working with her and her students on a regular basis. So thank you for that. She was grateful enough that she brought it up. And the second one is, what can all the people in the community do to help persuade the legislature to pass funding for the grant you just mentioned?
So that's a great question, because we talked about that last week and what we can do. And once it becomes a bill, we're going to ask for either the council or municipalities to put a letter of support in to support the bill. I don't know how much more testimony that they need, though. They've had hundreds of letters, and there's good stuff there, but probably a letter of support and what impacts the program has. Because I think that we would have trouble staffing our summer responses statewide to these catastrophic wildfires we had last couple of years without it. Thank you for the question.
Chief, I love your stats, by the way. And the year-to-date stats, I was kind of breaking them down. You've got trainings, which are, you control if you have a training. The other two lines, you don't control.
We don't control.
And I noted that since 2021, there's been a 23% increase in non-emergent and emergency requests to your department. It's a sizable jump.
Yes.
Year over year, it was 11%. So you're getting busier. So please take care of yourself this coming budget year.
We're definitely busier each and every year. We've been out twice today already. You know, January started off pretty busy, but thank you. And we will consider that.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Council.
Thanks. All right. The chair recognizes Deputy Kevin Grogan to report for the Rockaway Beach Patrol.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Okay, so December was a little bit slower month for Rockaway, criminal-wise, let's state that. There were a handful of criminal cases and deputies kept busy with patrols and traffic activity. Some notable calls for service this month include a report of a hit and run on South 2nd Avenue. There's no suspect information in this case. There was a report of unwanted sexual contact between minors that was channeled through Neoconia High School. This case has been forwarded to the detective division. A hit and run was reported at Mr. Nice Guy. Suspect vehicle information was provided, though there has not been an arrest made in this case at this time. A woman reported a disturbance on South Anchor Street. A vehicle had a window and its mirror broken. This case has been forwarded to the district attorney's office. And one special thing to note here. On December 12th, the Oregon State Sheriff's Association held its annual awards banquet. Sheriff offices are encouraged to submit staff for various awards that can fit within several acts of guidelines for the awards. 2 Tillamook County deputies were awarded Deputy Terrence Waters and our Rockaway's own Sean Allers, along with OSP Trooper Maine, received awards for actions that had taken place in Rockaway Beach. The synopsis of the actions taken are attached to this report, and other call numbers are noted in this statistic report. Any questions?
Any questions?
Sure.
2 different things I wanted to ask you about is, get the easy one first, is we've had a lot of tagging going on lately. Pictures of it. I think 5 different places in town that somebody's been doing their tagging on. Is there anything that we can do about that?
Document it. Like I said, always cameras helps us. Usually as soon as you notice it, call it in so we can have a quick response to that. So
I've got pictures of them all on my phone, but I don't know how you can catch somebody doing that.
well, you make a call to non-emergency and one of them will talk walking.
Another one is there's been a lot of drug activity going on around here, a lot more than normal. And does that the patrol officers take care of that, or do we have a drug team that?
We will take care of that.
Okay. But I can't talk about it here in the council, but.
Yeah, so we have Rockaway deputies 7 days a week. We have North County deputies 7 days a week. Call it in, especially as soon as possible, so we can possibly get them before they move. Because there's a whole bunch of charges that can stem from just drugs in general, DUIs, possession, manufacturing, all that kind of stuff. So you see it, call it in.
The community's calling us at home and telling us about it, so.
Yeah, I always recommend that. I mean, it's better to call us so we can get a quick response versus just talking about it. Going to social media, yeah, it helps. But if you see an emergency or something that you need to notify the police about.
I know we have to be discreet about it, so. Thank you.
And I will just mention that in my conversation with the Neoconia Middle School principal, she also said she was working closely with you and Sean and on a regular basis for security. So thank you again for also working with her.
Sean gets the easier side of the week. I get all the school dances and it works out just. They're quite.
As a teacher, I've been to a lot of school dances. I'm actually sorry for you.
They haven't been too busy yet, buddy.
One thing that I've just had quite a few community members that reach out to me about is just making sure that you guys are seen. Like, we get your reports and we see everything that's happening, but it sounds like the public would like to visually see you guys just stopping by more events.
Okay.
Like at the high school when there's basketball games or, whatever.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I mean, we like to tend,
Yeah.
sometimes we'll have to, especially since they're occurring on Fridays and Saturdays, that's busier end of the week, but we like to drive through parking lots. Football games, I'm usually present at almost all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are calls that do take us away with those.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's just one of the things, because now we're in the heart of basketball season.
Yep.
And I'm at all of the games, so people feel, they come and tell me. And they just said it would just be nice if they just saw you guys a bit more. It's the only thing I've heard.
Thank you, Deputy Grogan. Appreciate it.
And Mayor,
Are we ready?
your Gelser is on and ready. Yeah.
All right. Well, we recognize and welcome Peter Gelser of Kuntz Velasquez and Associates to share the results of our fiscal year audit. Welcome.
Hello. And first, I want to thank Luke for being flexible. I'm triple booked, and so I'm in Southern Oregon at a school district doing this presentation. So I recognize your flexibility, and I apologize. Hopefully I'll be there in person next year. Overall, the financials were really strong. I think the city is in good position. It's an unmodified opinion, which in auditor speak means that things are strong from a control point, and we don't have any significant concerns. There are a few small findings. The most significant one was related to something that happened in the previous year as well, where just a TRT transaction was recorded in the wrong year. It just actually it wasn't recorded in the wrong year. It was recorded as a cash instead of a receivable, which is even a smaller issue. And it just happened to be the same issue we had in the previous year. And part of it is turnover of staff at City Hall. And I think we're on track to not have that issue in the future. Beyond that, there weren't a lot of issues. I think the only thing we had listed in the letter is there were a few transactions that happened after the 2023 audit that recorded in the 2023 year. And that shows up with a discrepancy when we try to get beginning balances. And so that's a concern. I think there are systems in place here that shouldn't happen in the future, but that's why that's listed there. And then the final ones are ones you've had before. The fact that we have to write the financial statement. Again, that's a risk because we're kind of reviewing our own work. But we have systems in place in our office, and Marty and Luke do a good job of reviewing the financials themselves. So I don't really have a concern there. But the fact that we have to write the financials is always going to be a risk for the city. And then compensated absences, the fact that you have a policy in place and you have some employees that are exceeding the limits that are in place just means that the city is incurring a liability. The fact that people can't take vacation occurs, but it's just something to be aware of. It's minor from my point of view, but it's an increase in the liability beyond what your policy said it should be. So something to just consider. I don't know if anyone has questions about the findings that we had in the audit this year before I go on to the financials themselves.
I just add, we've made some staffing changes, or we loosely, City Manager Shepherd has made some staffing changes that I'm comfortable that these items will not repeat themselves. Again, other than the one dealing with the stuff that you described that you have to do for us because we just don't have the wherewithal to do them. The other two items are not going to be there next year. So,
yeah, I would agree with that assessment. I think moving forward, you're in a strong position, both financially and with the staff you have in place. So I have no real concerns. In terms of the financials themselves, there aren't significant changes this year. There's a lot of, it's pretty much the same activity as the previous few years. I will say we did change a little bit how we're recording some of the restricted assets or restricted portion of the fund balance, where we recorded some for the project fund and some of the TRT activity as restricted as opposed to assigned. It's really a minor difference. It just means that those monies are restricted for a particular purpose, and you can only use those for that purpose. And so we're recording it in your financials that way. It really doesn't change anything in terms of the amount of money you have available or anything else. It's an accounting mechanism to clearly show what is limited, where that money can be spent, kind of thing. So that's the only change that we're actually seeing in the financials. You had increased revenue this year. Expenses went up as well, but overall it's roughly the same pattern that we've had in the last few years. So there aren't in my mind, significant things we need to talk about, but I'm more than willing to talk about anything in particular people have concerns about or comments about.
Councilors?
Well, it's just nice to have Marnie Johnston on staff now to really keep our records and our finances. So feels good.
Yeah, appreciate the work that your team did, and I share the same perspective that we're in good shape as a city. We're very fortunate, and brighter days ahead.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, we did start our audit work later than normal because of the work that Marnie felt she needed to do to get cleaned up. But I really feel like things are going in the right direction. So yes.
Well, thank you very, very much. Good luck at dealing with your triple booking, and we'll look forward to seeing you in person next year.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter.
Yep. Bye-bye.
The chair recognizes Public Works Superintendent Dan Emerson to report for Public Works.
Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. We'll start with the water treatment and distribution. Public Works staff's been working to ensure the delivery of clean and safe drinking water despite power outages and heavy rain. So generator issues. On December 26th, Public Works deployed and operated 13 generators after high winds caused power outage on Christmas night. Tillamook PUD reported losing 3 of their 4 transmission lines with no estimated restoration time. During that time, their primary water plant generator failed during startup and has been sent for repairs. The backup generator also failed due to clogged fuel screens, which has since been cleared. Thanks to a quick action and good contacts, Rick from Manzanita Public Works provided a generator which ensured uninterrupted services. Plant improvements. Staff are working on relocating our chemical injection point to improve operations at the water treatment plant. This will require Oregon Health Authority's approval prior to implementation. Recent work. Installed a new water service near Victoria and South Island and cleared brush on Victoria and South 2nd in preparation for abandoning an old steel water line. Services on that line will be relocated to the newer water line and the steel line will be abandoned. We installed a pressure system. This is at the waste side and Anchor Street bathrooms. This improves the toilet operations and prevents clogging. These were purchased by Romtech and installed by them. Just Public Works helped out and made sure it happened. So certification renewal staff with last names A through K must renew drinking water certifications by December 31st this year or last year, requiring 20 hours of training. And water leaks, we have one. December 12th, staff repaired a leaking air valve on PV water line. Wastewater treatment and collections. The wastewater treatment plant remains a key piece of city infrastructure designed for durability. Over the past month, staff deployed generators multiple times to ensure lift stations operated smoothly. On December 18th, during a power outage, our South 6 pump station staff reported that found the pump had appeared to have burned up. The pump was pulled and sent to our repair shop January 7th. Same day, staff worked with the city of Bay City and inspected the sewer main line on South Palisades. Roads and streets. Replaced the street sign on 2nd and Coral. Staff also replaced speed signs near the school district, repaired 6 street lights. And so everyone's aware, if you see a street light out in your neighborhood, just let me know and we'll arrange to have it repaired. Also, with the street lights, we cities collaborated with Tyler Reed, superintendent at Lee County School. This is to improve lighting at the school. Major shout out to the city for adding street lighting for the students' safety traveling to and from the school. On November 27th, we picked up our F-350 from Boyd's after major repairs. Very happy with Boyd's implement on the work they've done. Perform King Tides maintenance on December 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. This required weekend work from staff and it was taken care of safely. On December 11th, we removed a fallen tree from the boardwalk. Moving down to projects, the Wayside project is going well and looking better every day. The next round of concrete was scheduled for January 6th and 7th. The contractor did open up the north end of the Wayside to allow the use of benches, tables, while keeping the beach access closed until all safety components are completed. Electricians have pulled wires for the new digital sign at the City Hall. Installing is scheduled for next week. Staff's working on registering the sign and setting up training. Next, going down, telemetry upgrades at the water treatment plant and our McMillan Reservoir. So some key dates and information on April 8th. Initially inquired about upgrading the system to include mission and abandoned tag system. April 18th, site visit from Correct Equipment and determined the installation location. The 11th on September, mission RTU was installed by the electricians. Staff began monitoring the new system. The 16th, staff installed Starlink's internet at the water treatment plant and tested performance before permanently mounting. November 13th, West Tech remotely performed programming work, enabling the ability to change our reservoir start-stop from the human-machine interface. Further separating operations from TAG. And December 30th and 31st, West Tech programmed chlorine flow reservoir readings directly to our HMI, fully abandoned TAG during this process. Also spliced wires for pH, temperature, discharge pressure, cleaned up, ran on independent wires. Faulty network wire was also replaced and the old internet system was removed after Starlink testing proved successful. And I'm working with staff to get our security back up. These upgrades have significantly improved remote monitoring and reliability at the plant. I can't emphasize enough how much pre-planning went into making this switch from the outdated, slow, and unreliable CenturyLink phone lines to modern Starlink internet and updated mission control system. This integration builds on our current infrastructure and provides substantial improvements. Thank you. And are there any questions?
Mr. Franken.
Yeah, thank you so much. Been our for keep going for another generator till you got one that worked. None of us knew a thing about it, which is great. You just mentioned, it just caught my ear right there, working with staff to get security back up. What does that mean exactly?
It's a firewall system. So I had to unplug the firewall and remove it from our current internet system, plug in our new internet system, schedule our IT to come back and integrate the firewall.
That's happening very soon, I presume.
Yes. I'm in trouble right now, so yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay, thank you.
Councilor McGinnis.
I've been walking the boardwalk almost every day in January. I've only missed 2 days, and I've seen 3 people fall. And I know that because right after it rained, there's portions of it that's like an ice skating rink. And I know you and your staff continually pursue ways to make that less slick. And I just want to encourage you to keep pursuing and don't give up on that, because it could be a serious situation.
Public Works did some flood mitigation work on South Second and Coral. And my observation is it's having a positive impact in that area. So thank you.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up also. That is really a plus, because I used to live on Dolphin and Second, and it wasn't flooding on all of the rains that we've had. You could drive down Second and you weren't having to drive through a foot of water.
Good to hear.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
A nice job with the reader board, Dan. So going in next week.
Yes.
Lightning fast. So it's great.
All right, the floor is yours, City Manager Shepherd.
All right. So welcome to the first regular council meeting of 2025. And special welcome to Councilor Conriff. It's your first regular meeting. Welcome aboard. Yeah, choose the right way here. So as we always do, for the first meeting each year, we hear about we hear our financial audit from our auditor. And this year, let's see, the audit's online. Peter talked about how we're doing. He didn't go into too much detail, so I just have a few things to add. One, so we reported positive fund balance in all funds. The city's net position right now is hovering just under 30 million, which is up over 2.7 million over the previous budget year. So we're doing well, and of course, there's always room for improvement, and that's why we submit a financial action plan each year. This year, the Secretary of State wants it to us. Wants our plan to him by January 18th. And Peter went over the various some of the findings, and so we have a plan of action to take care of those. Also up in January, we always elect a council president. And the council president presides in the absence of the mayor and acts as the mayor when the mayor is unable to perform their duties. And Councillor Cheek served as council president for both 2023 and 2024. So thank you, Councillor Cheek. Council will also elect a council liaison to the Planning Commission. And in that, the council liaison role is basically to provide an avenue for communication between the city council, the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission liaison typically attends the Planning Commission meetings, although they're not a member and they don't vote. All right, speaking of the Planning Commission, we also have 2 vacancies on the Planning Commission, position 1 and 7. We accept applications between November 18th and December 6th. And we've received 2 applications, one from Jason Maxfield and one from Lydia Hess. And I just want to thank Zandra Umholtz and Georgianne Ziedrich for their time on the Planning Commission. They stepped down, and that's why the vacancies exist. But Zandra and Georgianne were on the Planning Commission for quite a few years, and during a very, very busy and productive time for the Planning Commission. And those 2 played a big part in what the Planning Commission was able to accomplish. So just want to thank those 2 for their time on the Planning Commission. And what else? We visited with Charlie Botsford last month with EV charging solutions. We now have a contract we feel comfortable with for a site host agreement. So EVCS is going to install and operate electric vehicle charging stations at the Anchor Street parking lot, and 8 DC fast charging stations. Those are the big, powerful electric vehicle chargers. 1 level 2, my understanding is that's a smaller type of charger, and they'll have 1 ADA compliant space. But EVCS they're responsible for construction and maintenance of their units. It's hands off for us, but we will share a part of the revenue with EVCS that's generated through their charging service at our Anchor Street parking lot. We've got an executive session tonight. We'll meet with our attorney to talk about current litigation. And if there's any decisions to be made, we'll reconvene. I'm really happy to announce a promotion of Mary Johnson to fill our Public Works Director role. As many of you know, she's transformed our planning program over the last 2 years. She's done a wonderful job doing that. What a lot of people don't know, though, is that she has been working with Dan and I behind the scenes on the planning and funding, securing funding for a lot of the big projects, infrastructure projects we have on the docket for next year. Mary worked with us on the Nadana Beach waterline project funding package, plan and design, helped us get the $2.8 million funding package from the IFA. She single-handedly put together and got us the $435,000 grant for the Lake Lytle project. She hit send this morning on the $6 million ask for the Sunbury Trail project, construction of the Sunbury Trail here in Rockaway Beach. And she's been working along with me on everything watershed, including the joint ask with the city and Sustainable Northwest for the $17.5 million to buy the lower half of the watershed, to build the 3 million gallon raw water storage reservoir, and also for, I think it's 2 to 3 years of any restoration work in the watershed. So Mary's up to speed and has been working very closely with us on a lot of projects set up for Public Works. And when you look at our 5-year strategic plan, it's a very infrastructure heavy plan. 25 of the goal actions are going to be done by Public Works. That's well over half of the goal actions in our 5-year strategic plan. So it's very clear that our Public Works department is going to be asked to do a heck of a lot more than we've ever asked them to do. And that's okay. But the first step is to make sure that Public Works has a leadership team that has the capacity to do what we're going to ask them to do. And with Dan continuing to do his work as our Public Works superintendent and handling all the operations like he has been for 3 years, and Mary stepping in to take the administrative role that Dan and I have been juggling back and forth for the last 3 years. I don't have any doubt that we'll have a Public Works department ready to take on whatever we throw at them. So congratulations, Mary. It's something that'll happen around April. Of course, there's a lot to do between now and then. Number one is recruit for a city planner. So we will start that real soon. You'll see that posted and advertised. We'll have probably a long open period. We want to make sure we get somebody good. Good luck to whoever has to fill those shoes. And then currently, we're also recruiting for a utility worker 1 or 2 and a treatment plant operator 1 or 2, depending on experience and skill set. But for the utility worker and treatment plant operators, we're going to do a first review of applications on February 14th. So if you know anybody who's interested in a career with the city, full-time with benefits, please have them apply. They can check our website out with all the other additional information. And as Deputy Grogan mentioned, Rockaway Beach Patrol Deputy Sean Allers received a distinguished action award at the Oregon State Sheriff's Association banquet back in December. It's pretty neat. Let's see. So it was an award for his response to an incident in Rockaway Beach. And there's a quote from the sheriff that says, Deputy Allers displayed great courage when he used his advanced training in deploying a ballistic shield that allowed himself and fellow officers to detain a dangerous individual who had threatened people with a gun. This was the incident where there was an individual with a gun, and I think he had a sock over his hand and the gun, so it's hard to tell exactly what it was. But congratulations to Deputy Allers. It's nice to know we have people here in town who really won't hesitate to put themselves in danger to protect our citizens, protect their fellow officers. So anyway, congratulations to Deputy Allers. Really nice to see that. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen me in a suit and tie, but there you go. Yeah. Then a quick update. We'll have this posted on our website as soon as we're able to. So both the small and large community grants, we'll have the application open period start February 3rd. So for the small grant, we've got a deadline for submission of April 7th. And then for the large grant, there's a little more work involved with the application process. So we've got a deadline of April 4th. All of this will be posted online, but we've had quite a few questions this week. When is the community grant going to open up? And so there you go. February 3rd, it'll be available on our website. And so please check it out and apply. If interested, we've got our public meetings for January and February. The only thing new there is on February 19th, we'll have a public meeting about the Sunbury Trail, specifically the southern third of the trail. The design consultants want to talk about an alternative alignment on that section. So we said we're not going to make any changes without involving the public. So they're going to run that and present an alternative route. And there should be some information heading out from the consultants or ODOT here real soon. More information, some surveys that people can take, and let us know what they think about the alternative alignment. And that's it for tonight for me.
Councilors, questions, comments?
Just a note on the community grants, those are for nonprofits. We have other grants for the for-profit businesses, so nonprofits, that this is your chance.
Yeah, and so I don't have a slide for it, but I'll follow up with the marketing and facade grant targeted toward businesses. Those open up March 3rd, I believe. We'll have those open and available for everyone in town.
We have a start time on the Salmonberry Trail meeting.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, yes. But it'll be in the evening, and we do know there will be a remote or in-person option.
All right, thank you, City Manager Shepherd. We don't have a public hearing this evening, so we're going to move on to citizen input. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. Our governing body takes the input into consideration. However, in observance of Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't the time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Our city manager is taking notes of action as needed. The electronic egg next to our city manager will count down, giving speakers a 1-minute warning by turning yellow. I have the sign-up sheet. Anyone joining us remotely who wishes to provide comment can notify the meeting monitor now by clicking the raise hand icon, and we will add you to the sign-up sheet. Do we have any folks watching remotely? No. All right. We'll begin then. The chair recognizes Bill Hassel. Please approach the podium and state your full name and address for the record. Please keep in mind that this is intended to be a place of common courtesy and civility. After 3 minutes, the timer will turn yellow. After 4 minutes, the timer will turn red. Please conclude your comments at that time.
My name is Bill Hassel, 1085 Northeast 12th Avenue, Rockaway Beach. So members of Rockaway City Council, city staff, and all the guests, both online as well as here in the audience, want to announce that the North Coast Communities for Watershed Protection are inviting you to St. Mary's Parish Hall in Rockaway Beach this coming Saturday, January 18th, for a presentation by Master of Landscape Architecture students from the University of Oregon. Their research project is entitled Coastal Futures, focusing on climate change adaptation strategies for coastal communities in Oregon. It will be led by Ignacio Lopez Buson, a University of Oregon assistant professor of climate change resilience. For the past 3 months, his students have visited and analyzed Rockaway Beach, meeting with local people to understand the values and changes of our community. Some of these challenges are going to include coastal erosion, sea level rise, deforestation, drinking water quality, and urban development. This presentation and mapping will focus on their research regarding the sustainable coastal practices and explore paths for long-term resilience. There'll be a period after the presentation in which students will show models of their work and answer questions. This first year University of Oregon Master of Landscape Architecture project is an ongoing teaching and research effort led by Professor Buson and his 5 students. It is supported by the 2024 Sustainability Fellows Program and is funded as part of Pacific Northwest Just Futures Institute, which supports faculty doing community engaged teaching and research. We'd like to invite everybody to come and participate. It's also going to be available online and recorded, so you can look at it at a different time. There'll be no charge to attend, and from Wolf Moon Bakery and from Manzanita Wild will be refreshments served. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Sandy Johnson. Please approach the podium and state your full name and address for the record. Please keep in mind that this is intended to be a place of common courtesy and civility. After 3 minutes, the timer will turn yellow. After 4 minutes, the timer will turn red. Please conclude your comments at that time.
Thank you. My name is Sandy Johnson, 457 Terrace Drive, Rockaway Beach. I'd like to start off by thanking the mayor, the city council, Bill Hassel as chair of the Planning Commission, administration and staff for listening to the concerns of the community regarding accessibility. Accessibility began before I arrived in Rockaway Beach with the construction of the boardwalk at the ADA compliant boardwalk at the Cedar Wetlands construction. And since then, the city has offered grants to local businesses to help with accessibility improvements. It has installed more ADA compliant public restrooms and an ADA compliant playground at Anchor Street. It is now nearing completion of an ADA compliant ramp at the wayside and possibly installation of Moby mats to enable people with small children and accessibility and mobility difficulties to access our beautiful beach. The city has also listened to the concerns of citizens who have expressed concern about the lack of ADA compliant short-term rentals in our community. Tomorrow, the Planning Commission is going to be addressing that issue at its meeting that begins at 5 o'clock. And we'll be listening to a presentation from a company that provides direction and certification for accessible short-term rentals. I would like to urge anyone interested in that issue to attend the meeting or watch it on Zoom. One other project that is now coming to fruition in Rockaway Beach is the city is becoming a host community to David's Chair. For those that don't know, David's Chair is a nonprofit organization that provides track-operated electric wheelchairs to communities cost-free. The chair use of the chair is also made available cost-free to users who would like to use the track-operated wheelchairs. Thanks to the generous support of St. Mary's Church, a portion of their parking lot has been made available and a storage building has been installed this week. The storage unit now houses Rockaway Beach's electric track-operated chair. The only thing needed now to make the chair available to mobility challenged users is a volunteer group who will be available to check in and check out the chairs and make sure that they are operated properly. There will be no lifting involved by the volunteers. The Rockaway Beach Volunteers Group, I am a co-chair or coordinator with Robin Swain. We will be coordinating that group, but we need volunteers who are interested in helping to check out the chairs. There will be a training this upcoming Thursday at 10:30, not tomorrow, but the week after, at 10:30 a.m. at the St. Mary's parking lot on the care and operation of the chair. If anyone is interested in volunteering to help with the David's Chair project, or if you're just interested in seeing how this amazing chair operates and can go over rocks and down hills onto the sand, it's really a great opportunity for people who have accessibility issues. So anyone interested in volunteering, they can show up at that training next Thursday, or they can email us at rbvolunteers1@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no old business, so we move on to new business. Consideration of Resolution 2025-01, adopting 2023-2024 fiscal year audit plan of action. This resolution adopts an action plan in response to deficiencies reported in our audit of the fiscal year ending June 31st, 2024. Now, the public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. I have no one signed up, but anyone joining us remotely who wishes to provide comment can notify the meeting monitor now by clicking the raise hand icon, and we will add you to the sign-up sheet. Do we have anybody watching remotely who wishes to speak? All right. The chair will now entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve Resolution 2025-01, adopting 2023-2024 fiscal year audit plan of action.
I move that Rockaway Beach City Council approve Resolution 2025-01, adopting the 2023-24 fiscal year audit plan of action.
I'll second it.
It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve Resolution 2025-01, adopting 2023-2024 fiscal year audit plan of action. Councilor Franklin, would you like to make any comments?
I think everything's clear with the discussion of the audit and.
Councilors?
Yeah.
Since there's no discussion, let's vote. Council President Cheek.
We have somebody in the audience.
Are we?
Signed up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're done voting.
Let me finish this and I'll come back. Thank you, Goldia. I'll explain later what happened. It was, anyways, my apologies. Council President Cheek.
Yes.
Councilor Franken.
Yes.
Councilor Conruff.
Yes.
Councilor Martine.
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. We will now go back to public input, and Goldia C., please approach the podium, state your full name and address. You know the drill. You've been here before. Thanks for coming.
I'm Goldie C. and I live at 216 South Beacon Street in Rockaway Beach, Oregon. And I'm a little late in coming, a few months late, but I wanted to thank everybody who took part in making that light not shine in my bedroom from Beacon Street Park. It works. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
That was a shout out to Public Works. Thank you, Superintendent Emerson. Good job. All right. Consideration to elect a council president. The Rockaway Beach City Charter, Chapter 3, Section 8 provides that at its first meeting each year, the council must elect a president from its membership. The president presides in the absence of the mayor and acts as mayor when the mayor is unable to perform their duties. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. I have nobody signed up to speak. Anyone joining us remotely who wishes to provide comment can notify the meeting monitor now by clicking the raise hand icon, and we will add you to the sign-up sheet. Do we have anyone watching remotely for public comment? Given that, I would like to nominate Councilor Penny Cheek as our council president for the next year. She's performed her duties as expected during the last 2 years, and I think she would be a welcome choice to move forward. And as such, I would entertain a motion to approve her appointment as council president.
I make a motion that we approve Councilor Penny Cheek's appointment as 2025 Councilor President.
I'll second it.
Okay. It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council elect Penny Cheek as council president. Any comments from council? All right.
Nope, I look forward to seeing her step into your shoes someday.
Could happen. Could happen. I got to watch out this chair here. It's slipping out from under me. All right. Since there's no discussion, no further discussion, let's vote. Council President Cheek.
Yes.
Councilor Franken.
Yes.
Councilor Conruff.
Yes.
Councilor Martine.
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to consideration to appoint a planning commission liaison. The Rockaway Beach City Charter, Chapter 31, Section 1C5, provides that the mayor may nominate a councilor to the Planning Commission liaison position as deemed necessary, subject to provisions of City of Rockaway Beach Charter, Chapter 3, Section 7. The mayor will consider the council liaison appointment in January of every year. Council liaison is a non-voting position and is not a member of the Planning Commission. The role of council liaison is to provide an avenue for communication between the Planning Commission and the council. The liaison shall report to the Planning Commission on the general status of the City Council and items relevant to the work of the Planning Commission. The council liaison shall excuse themselves from the planning commission prior to any land use hearing or land use application discussion. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. We have nobody signed up. Anyone joining us remotely who wishes to provide comment can notify the meeting monitor now by clicking the raise hand icon, and we will add you to the sign up sheet. Do we have anyone watching remotely? Since we have no public comment, let me simply say I believe that Councilor McGinnis is doing an excellent job in this role, and the Council and Planning Commission will be well served by her continuing as Planning Commission liaison. Therefore, I nominate Councilor Mary McGinnis as Planning Commission liaison, and the chair will entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve the mayor's nomination of Councilor Mary McGinnis to serve as the Planning Commission liaison.
I move that the Rockaway Beach City Council approve the mayor's nomination of Councilor McGinnis to serve as Planning Commission liaison.
I second the motion.
It's moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approves the mayor's nomination of Councilor Mary McGinnis to serve as the Planning Commission liaison. Any discussion from council? All right, let's vote. Council President Cheek.
Yes.
Councilor Franken.
Yes.
Councilor Conroy.
Yes.
Councilor Martine.
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. We move on to consideration of resolution 2025-03, making appointments to the Planning Commission to fill vacant positions 1 and 7. The 2 applications received for the open positions were reviewed in the council workshop. The city charter grants the mayor authority to nominate for vacancies with appointment by a majority of the council. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. No one signed up here in the meeting. Anyone joining us remotely who wishes to provide comment can notify the meeting monitor now by clicking the raise hand icon, and we will add you to the sign up sheet. Do we have anyone watching remotely? Okay. So we have 2 outstanding applicants for the 2 vacancies on the Planning Commission, Jason Maxfield and Lydia Hess. Both Jason and Lydia have distinguished themselves on the Source Water Protection Plan Development Advisory Committee, affectionately known as SPDAC, and continually contribute to the well-being of Rockaway Beach. Without hesitation, I nominate Jason Maxfield for Planning Commission Position 1 and Lydia Hess for Planning Commission Position 7, and that position is what she specifically applied for, hence her slotted in at Position 7. I know that our community will be well served by these 2 intelligent, well-spoken, and caring individuals. The chair will entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve Resolution 2025-03, making appointments to the Planning Commission to fill vacant positions 1 and 7 with Jason Maxfield and Lydia Hess.
I move that the Rockaway Beach City approve Resolution 2025-03, making appointments to the Planning Commission to fill vacant positions 1 and 7.
I'll second it.
It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve Resolution 2025-03, making appointments to the Planning Commission to fill vacant positions 1 and 7 with Jason Maxfield and Lydia Hess. Councilor comments, discussion?
Just that, and you mentioned this, that we've had an opportunity over this last year to watch both of those individuals and their work on the Source Water Protection Plan Committee, and to see that they go far beyond what is actually called of them. Lydia has attended some tours of drinking watersheds, and so I have confidence that they will continue to work that hard on the Planning Commission.
I've enjoyed working with them on the SPDAC team, and they're very engaged and care deeply about their community. So we're lucky they.
All right, since there's no further discussion, let's vote. Council President Cheek?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Conroy?
Yes.
Councilor Martine?
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Consideration of Resolution 2025-02, approving a site host agreement with EV Charging Solutions for electric vehicle charging stations at Anchor Street parking lot. This resolution approves an agreement with EV Charging Solutions for electric vehicle charging stations at Anchor Street parking lot. The public comment period is an essential part of local government. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. No one here present signed up, but anyone joining us remotely who wishes to provide comment can notify the meeting monitor now by clicking the raise hand icon, and we will add you to the sign up sheet. Do we have anyone watching remotely wishing to speak? Given that, the chair will entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve Resolution 2025-02, approving a site host agreement with EV Charging Solutions for electric vehicle charging stations at Anchor Street parking lot.
I move that Rockaway Beach City Council approve Resolution 2025-02, approving a site host agreement with EV Charging Solutions for electric vehicle charging stations at Anchor Street parking lot.
I'll second it.
It's moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolutions 2025-02, approving a site host agreement with EV Charging Solutions for electric vehicle charging stations at Anchor Street parking lot. Any comments from councilors?
I read an article in OPV recently that said that by October 2024, Oregon had almost 103,000 registered electric vehicles with the DMV. And 10 years ago, we only had 5,500. So I think that shows the popularity and how it's growing. And I want to thank city staff for being ahead of this and seeing what the future trend is.
We will have some of the best EV charging stations along this stretch of the coast. So I firmly believe that people will stop in Rockaway Beach, charge the vehicle, go get a meal, check out our shops. That wouldn't necessarily stop, would drive through our town. So I think this will have an incremental impact on our economy. So I'm excited and thank also City Manager Shepherd and the staff for thinking ahead in this way.
And I might add, I can also thank the staff for going after grants so it doesn't cost the city anything.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. All right. Well, let's vote. Council President Cheek?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Martine? Oh, Councilor Conrup?
I was like, yes.
Councilor Martine?
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. So our agenda says that we would go into executive session at this time. I'm actually, one of the few things I get to do as mayor is I can adjust the order of business, and I'm going to move council comments and the mayor's report ahead of our executive session so that you all don't have to wait around to hear what we want to share with you this evening. So with that, I will recognize Council President Cheek to share her comments.
Well, I want to first thank the fire department for all of the work you've been doing this last year and all the things that you have achieved with the fire department. We're progressive and forward thinking. I love the idea that we're going to have a new truck. I'm excited to see it. I think that we've had an outstanding fire department for the last 30 or 40 years, and you've just added to it and made it a little more special. So thank you. And I also want to thank Officer Rogan. I beg your pardon? Rogan. You've done a marvelous job, and also Sean has also done a marvelous job helping us. And I think that the issue that was taken care of this morning, I appreciate Sean's attention to that.
That's all right.
I couldn't hear what he said.
He said he was there too.
Okay, well, I appreciate your work also. I know it was a very stressful situation.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Great.
I think
What else?
we're very fortunate to have a good fire department, a great police department, an outstanding public works, and a super city manager and staff. We're very fortunate for a city.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, all right, that's it.
All right, Councilor Franken, see if you can top that.
I don't think I can, but I do echo some of your same sentiments. As Public Works, I just see the team out there working like crazy all over the place and keeping us running smoothly in all directions. So that's awesome. Thank you. I want to thank the city staff. We're just very fortunate here in Rockaway to have such an outstanding staff. And just to remind everybody that the next SPDAC meeting is Tuesday, the 21st from 9:30 to 11:30 right here at City Hall. And it is a public meeting, so you can come and attend and learn things. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Conrad, take it away.
Alrighty. I'm really excited that the fire department has such a high turnout for their EMT class. I mean, as their numbers are showing, unfortunately, it's needed. The numbers are just going up, but that's a really exciting high number for another class. And just thank you for hearing us about the sheriff's office and just making sure that the presence is known and seen, you know, even if you're not actively doing more, just showing face, I think is sometimes really just what the public and myself want. And then I just want to make sure that Public Works gets a big thank you for those outages, because that was a rough time, not fun. And I feel like we didn't miss a beat, and none of us even, I think, realized that they were having some pretty big generator fails. So yeah, and of course, just a big thank you to the community for trusting me and putting your faith in me, and I will do everything that I can to show you that you guys made the right decision. That's all I got.
That's good. Thank you very much, Counselor Conriff. Counselor Martine.
First, I want to welcome Kylie Conriff in here. I've known her for many, many years, and I'm very glad to see when she applied for the position, and I'm glad she won the election. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
I do appreciate having the larger medical crew that we have with the fire department, because back in the days when I was a medical officer, we'd only have 2 or 3 people on the crew. And we'd have to keep in touch with who's going to go shopping at Fred Meyer's and who's going to be in town, because you just didn't know if you can't go on a call by yourself. So I'm glad to see a large crew there. And I'm glad to see a happy, smiling faces out here in the audience.
Yeah.
No grumpy faces out there today. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor McGinnis.
Well, I also want to welcome Kylie Conriff to City Council. Counselor Conriff started actually jumping into the work some time ago. She attended a long, hot 9-hour League of Cities training in Cannon Beach for newly elected officials. So she's just jumped in to learn this position quickly. Luke said, City Manager Shepherd said something in our workshop today that really struck me. This is a historic election in Rockaway, that this is the first time since we were incorporated in the 1940s that all 6 elected officials were elected and sworn in at the same time. So we have a huge mandate ahead of us. And I have confidence that we will be able to fulfill whatever the community expects of us, because we have a highly skilled city manager, highly skilled employees, and we also have a very large group of energetic community volunteers. That's all of you sitting out there. We could not do our job without you, so thank you. And it all takes all of us working together, not just elected officials, to do our work. But I want to say a little something quickly about our elected officials. You probably have noticed how we come in and we know what we're doing and we just make our motions and it all goes so smoothly. That's because of the city staff. You need to know that. Things have changed in Rockaway recently, and technology has a lot to do with that, but our quality staff does too. By the time something gets in our agenda, we've discussed it first at a workshop. We counselors have done our own research. It has gone through appropriate city committees. Public input has been sought. Our attorneys have been consulted multiple times. Outside consultants have come in to inform us about the topic. And then the staff puts it all together in a report for us. So we look really knowledgeable and cool up here sometimes, but none of that would be happening if it wasn't for our city staff. So and that's all of our employees in every department. I really want to thank them. And we will be implementing our strategic plan in the next 5 years. And today in the workshop, we city councilors ranked which ones we want to work on first. The consulting firm said that would be available to the city tomorrow. So you'll be able to see what the top priorities are. And I look forward to that. I'm ready to kick off this exciting work, and I am glad that you, the community, are here to support us. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking of the 5-year strategic plan, I think City Manager Shepherd said of the 45 action items that bubbled up from the community, we're already working on 29 of them. So we've made progress. We're moving forward. It's very exciting. So with that, may I have slide 1, please?
Sorry, let me stop and reshare.
Technology is never your friend. All right, perfect. Thank you. So the next coffee with manager and mayor is Thursday, January 23rd at 9 a.m. in the second floor conference room of City Hall. We hope you'll attend, as it is an opportunity to meet your neighbors and share your thoughts with City Manager Shepherd and myself. The two of us always very much enjoy the interaction and value the questions we get asked and the comments and needs that get shared with us. So please attend. It's a great opportunity to be more engaged with our community. Slide 2, please. All right. This is a new one. The City of Rockaway Beach is adding another opportunity to engage with your neighbors beginning March 25th at 9 a.m. in the City Hall vestibule outside the council room. Will be a community coffee and tea with snacks. It will be a welcoming space to visit with friends, meet new community members, play games, and enjoy a drink of your choice. Everyone is welcome.
Yeah, clap for that.
Thank you.
And for the people in the community who set that up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We'll even have a kids' corner. Sorry, no fur babies are allowed. Thereafter, so beginning in April, every second and fourth Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And in the upcoming February newsletter, there'll be more information, and in particular, there'll be a way to arrange transportation. We want to make it available to people who have mobility challenges, and we'll make sure somebody comes by and picks you up and brings you and then gets you home. Next slide. All right. We all know that Rockaway Beach is much more than just 7 miles of marvelous beach. The annual Rockaway Writers Rendezvous is one example of this. Every year, the last full weekend in April, visitors and residents gather in Rockaway Beach to attend the Rockaway Writers Rendezvous. The 2025 event is April 25th, 26th, and 27th. The 3 days will be filled with workshops, a keynote speaker, open mics, consulting sessions, networking breakfast, and more. Best-selling authors, award-winning screenwriters, playwrights, and publishers share their knowledge and pro tips to help writers hone their craft. The Rendezvous sponsors a writing contest for students grades 7 to 12 and adults with categories for poetry, short stories, nonfiction, journalism, and song lyrics. This year, the Rockaway Writers Rendezvous is also hosting an art contest. Interested parties can submit photos of their paintings, drawings, illustrations, sculptures, or anything else they consider to be art. Go to www.rbwriters.com for more information about the event. Purchase tickets. The event is free for students, or enter either the writing or art contest or both. I'm excited and honored to be part of the Rockaway Writers Rendezvous as a writing contest judge, and I will also give out a special Mayor's Award for Excellence in Writing to one of the students' winning entries. Next slide, please. I am excited to share with you the city issued email addresses to councilors and mayors. These email addresses are easy to remember as they consist of the first letter of our first name, followed immediately by our last name at corb.us. The city issued email addresses will allow Rockaway Beach elected officials to more easily separate personal affairs from city business. So please update your contact information for each of us. And these email addresses are also on the city website in the council section. And then last, just unfortunately, not everyone takes the time to do their homework before opining about our beloved community and its government. If you read or hear something about our city leadership, city staff, elected officials, or our government processes that concerns you, please contact me to discuss. I can be reached at cmcneely@corb.us, or you can call me at 503-641-8437. Thank you all for your time at these sessions. It really helps us to have the audience here and your attention this evening, and I am still listening. So with that, the Rockaway Beach City Council will now recess to a conference room to meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.660-2H. Consult with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. The executive session is closed to the public. Representatives of the news, media, and designated staff may attend the executive session. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to record or report any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No council decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, the meeting will return to open session. Any necessary action will be taken when the open session reconvenes. So with that, at 7:24, we are convening upstairs to executive session.
Recording stopped.
Thank you.
Yeah, but gavel,
Yes,
Sam.
gavel's in.
Recording in progress.
I now reconvene the regular session at 8:30. May I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Kylie, it's up to you.
It's your motion, Tyler.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
It is moved and seconded. Let's record Counselor's vote. Council President Cheek.
Yes.
Counselor Franken.
Yes.
Counselor Hayes.
Oh,
Oh, Council. If I didn't.
That's a little.
Not terrible. Counselor Conroe.
Yes.
Counselor Martine.
Yes.
Counselor McGinnis.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 8:31 on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025.
Like.